As I reflect on Maundy Thursday, I've been thinking a lot about Jesus washing the disciples' feet and how humbling that experience would have been for those disciples who had traveled with Jesus for about 3 years. And the mode of travel and transportation, and the ways I think sometimes we can forget how filthy and dirty and grimy their feet would have been, and how to have someone else do that for you, someone who's not a servant, somebody who's not designated to do that for you. Just how humbling and humiliating that may have felt to those disciples for their Lord, the King of the Jews, the Messiah, to kneel before them and take water and scrub their feet, wiping away the dirt and grime and the dust of the rabbi that they followed for so long. I think of it as a way to have prepared for what was to come, to say, you've walked with me this far. We share the same dirt, but this next part, Jesus knows he's going to have to go alone, and that this walk will be the one that he takes by himself, that nobody else can walk it for him or with him, but really to prepare those disciples for the walk they would have to take without him after his death, after his resurrection. And I think about the community and how that would have bound those disciples together. I think a lot of times we remember that it's doing things in teams. Projects together are things that bring us closer together. And for those disciples who have had that experience combined with the Lord's Supper, the breaking of the bread, the sharing of the cup, and all of that conversation about who would betray Jesus, would have solidified their unity, that maybe also have been intimidating for them to consider, that they would still be unified in this way, but also they were going to have to split apart and go and do their ministry separate or in pairs. So thinking about that humility and the sacrifice that was made, I can't help but think about Maundy Thursday in the way that sacrifices are being made right now, particularly from people in the medical field who are maybe staying in a hotel so they don't expose their families to illness, or people who have, if both parents are in the home, work in the medical profession. Some people have had to send their children away to stay with family members for an extended period of time because they want to protect their children. These are great sacrifices. And it's a sacrifice for them to every day be scared, every day to be concerned about their patients and whether they'll have enough supplies to protect themselves, but for most of them, more importantly, to protect the patients that they're serving, to have ventilators, to have masks, to have gloves and medications, and to be able to take care of patients who are coming in with things that they already are suffering from, not just this horrible virus, but heart problems, cancer, radiation treatments, lung issues, things that people are already facing, and to have this on top of it. So I'm really just remembering the heroes that are out there in the hospital and the ways that we take them all for granted, and the ways that they are really sacrificing, really putting themselves on the line for other people. And we know that that's what Jesus did for us, and more importantly, we know that that is what Christ calls us to serve, to hold each other's hand, to wash each other's feet, to share our bread and our cup as we can, that out of our bounty we might be able to walk with someone else. I pray that you are well, and that in these days of Holy Week you are finding opportunities for peace and prayer, and just remember that we can't have Easter without Good Friday. We can't have the resurrection without death. We can't have salvation without the suffering. So I'm mindful of that today.